Welcome back to the Growth Over Goals podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Montgomery. And today I've got a dear friend, special guest, absolute legend in the world of sports. He's a leader of leaders. It's way bigger than the game. For Nick Mingione, Kentucky baseball coach, National Coach of the Year, just took his team to the College World Series. He has a unique story in how he arrived in Lexington, Kentucky. Listen, if you're a young leader today and you're embarking on a dream and you want to lead up, you want to expand your influence, you want to get into rooms and spaces that you don't think you deserve to be in, this message today, this conversation is for you. Nick has led up for so long. He's done the right thing. He's operated with humility. He's treated people well. He's kept his faith and family first. He knows who he is and whose he is. And because of that, he's had unbelievable impact and success. It is my great honor to welcome in my friend, Kentucky baseball coach, Nick Mingione. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Just anytime I get to spend with you, you have this ability to make people better. So I'm just praying that our time together, not only will we make each other better, but we can maybe make others better. So thanks for having me.
Well, you make me better, man. Just getting to know you this past year. I just, your passion for the things that matter most just kind of ooze out of you. And I want to create a moment for some people listening real quick. So here's what's going to happen for a whole bunch of people listening. They're like, okay, I'm listening to the Kentucky baseball coach. I get it. National Coach of the Year, College World Series. But then right now is where there's going to be a shift. If you go to YouTube, if you're on social media at all, and you follow, leaders, personal development, anything with faith, there's like this guy, this baseball coach, that pops up on all these videos talking about, leadership and faith and being really bold for the things that matter most. And then they're like, oh, it's that guy. It's that Kentucky baseball coach. Because you had a bunch of videos go viral last year. Your press conferences have sort of become famous because you sort of break the rules in the boundaries for what gets talked about in a post-game press conference. So I just want to drop in right there. Boldness is part of what makes you who you are. You're a leader that leads boldly. Yet all these videos go viral last year. Talk to us about why they went viral. What did you say? What was that experience like for you watching these videos and press conferences impact so many people?
Well, Jordan, I've been coaching for over 20 years, and the ultimate goal of a college baseball coach is to reach the level of the College World Series. It's like the mecca of college baseball, and there's 8 teams left. And, I had been multiple times. I've been to the College World Series, I think 6 times, whether it be like the NEA College World Series, and was fortunate to go in 2013 with Mississippi State, but never been as a head coach. And I just always said, if and when God provided us this avenue and this platform to make it, I didn't want to miss the moment. Just to tell people how amazing God is and that only He could write this story of how we ended up there. So really, I had been thinking and praying and for that time. And when the time came, I just wanted to let everybody know why. And I'll never forget, we're on Kentucky Proud Park, our home field. We literally just clinched to go to the College World Series. And, the dog pile happened, the media, the fans, they're doing laps, we're hugging the players, there's tears. And my favorite thing on the field is just to sit back and just to watch our players celebrate. Like, just for that, the pure joy, the excitement, to jump on the dog, like, just love that moment. And when all that settled down and it was time to go do the press conference, I just told all my closest friends and family that were there, I just said, guys, pray for me, because I'm about to go tell the whole world why we made it. And man, I get emotional even thinking about it. So
wow,
I use that opportunity and that platform just to let everybody know, never with the thought in mind that the press conferences are going to go viral and my son's, citing scripture, all that, just never knowing like how far. And Jordan, it's really amazing how far and how many people we could reach, because like you, I've done a ton of speaking engagements. And what I've realized is those speaking engagements are powerful, but the room is only so big. And to go and put something out there and then for it to hit YouTube and all that, I had never really truly experienced that. And then it was just shortly after, the texts, the phone calls, it was the emails. Jordan, it was nonstop. And all I can do is just say, thank you, Lord, that like we did not miss that moment and an opportunity, because people are still watching and I'm still hearing. I was just in Washington, D.C. They had the ABCA National Coaches Convention. And I had a coach grab me from a school all the way out in California and say, Coach, thank you. He said, I used bits of your press conference with my team's opening first team meeting of the whole year, breaking down exactly what you said and how you gave all the honor and glory and the surrender it took. And it was just powerful. So that message today, as you know, it's like it's continued. I'm just so thankful that we didn't miss the opportunity.
Well, when I think about that story and I think about your faithfulness and commitment to the things that matter, Nick, I think about, that scripture, Luke, I think it's 12:48, right? To whom's been given much, much is required. To whom's been entrusted with much, much more will be asked. And I think stewardship has been a theme of your life, taking advantage of every opportunity, every moment, treating each opportunity like it's your last, doing it with your full heart and all of who you are, with all that you are. I want you to go back, because people are seeing the success today, but they don't know the journey. Your journey is so unique. I want people to hear this. You correct me if I'm wrong. You were never a head baseball coach until you got to the University of Kentucky, which, by the way, is in the Mecca, SEC, the Mecca of baseball. This does not happen, should not happen, was not supposed to happen. Talk to us about how it happened and the early days of coaching. Because for a new emerging leader, for somebody who's kind of on the way up, somebody needs to hear this. There was sacrifice and commitment and honor and stewardship. Just, man, your story is littered with those themes. So give us the 2-minute of how did Nick come up through the ranks and manage to land a job as a head coach at Kentucky baseball?
Only by the grace of God. I mean, I've told the story and I've just explained that only I could write the story because, Jordan, I graduated college in 4 years right on time, did student loans, credit card debt, the whole deal. And I went right into coaching, and I was a high school coach for 1 year at my alma mater. And Steve Larson gave me this awesome opportunity. Well, I did that for a year and decided I wanted to do college. Okay. So Dave Tillett gives me an opportunity to be the volunteer coach at Florida Gulf Coast. Before they had a team, they just built a program. This guy got the job, said, Nick, why don't you help me? Where I'm literally working at the high school, and on the weekends, I'm on the road recruiting. Okay, so I was a volunteer that year.
Yeah.
Well, then God leads me to Embry-Riddle, where I played with my coaches in college. And I'll never forget, I called Greg Williams. I'm like, Coach, I've heard about this. I feel led to come back. Do you have any opportunities for me? And he's like, Nico, he's like, I have good news and bad news. And I was like, okay, what is it? And he's like, well, the good news is, yes, I have a spot for you. He's like, the bad news is it doesn't pay anything. And I'm like, I don't care, I'm coming. So literally, Jordan, I move up in my car to Daytona Beach. Everything I owned was in this car. And for the next 3 years, I was a volunteer coach to where I didn't get paid to be the coach. Like the school gave me a meal plan, but a paycheck, I didn't receive a paycheck for 3 years. Well, then from there, I get to be the volunteer coach here at the University of Kentucky in the summer of 2005. So I'm the volunteer here. So I spent the first 6 years of my coaching career just being a volunteer coach. Well, what does that mean? That means I can only get paid through camps. And in 6 years, I made $36,000 total. No health insurance, no benefits. Not per year.
6 years, $36,000 total with no benefits.
With no health insurance. And get this, the Lord totally took care of me. I never got sick one time in 6 years. I had a cavity, and John Cohen, the head coach at Kentucky at the time, saw me eating. His wife would have me over every week, and I think she felt bad for me, so she would cook for me. So I would eat every week, and one day he saw me eating weird. He's like, Nick, what's the matter? My tooths bother me. And the next day, coach sends me to a dentist and pays for it. But 6 years, yeah. Wow. And so the Lord just took care of me. And you know what, Jordan? I just knew that this is what God wanted me to do. And the whole time he was just preparing me. And I was never searching for the next job, none of that. And just kept growing in my faith, kept getting stronger and stronger. And thank God for the sanctification process, right? And what does that mean? It just means that we become more like Jesus. And I'm not where I want to be, but thank God I'm not where I used to be. So I've just kept growing and growing. And really, I was the volunteer at Kentucky for those 2 years in 06, 07. I go to Western Carolina for 10 months. John Cohen, who was the head coach of Kentucky, goes to Mississippi State. He offers me a job at Mississippi State. I spent 8 years there as an assistant coach. And then Mitch Barnhart, our athletic director here, gave me the opportunity of a lifetime. And really, it gets even crazier because now I'm a head coach. There's only 16 of these chairs, right? There's only 16 head coaches. Yeah. And in my first year, we go to a super regional for the first time in school history. We do something that's never been done. And I'm named the SEC and National Coach of the Year that year. In my first year ever with 0 head coaching experience, only because of the grace of God, Jordan. Like, it is just, you can't make that up. You can't. So
unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I want to slow this down and I want you to teach just for a second. Because we have a lot of young leaders listening who are like, well, I still feel like I'm at Western Carolina or Mississippi. Like, I'm not where I want to be. I'm the person, Nick, that you were, that's not getting paid, or I'm in a spot that doesn't feel great. What advice would you have to the young leader who's maybe not where they want to be, but that's sort of on the way up or on that journey where you were maybe so many years ago?
Yeah, I think the first thing I would always tell people is you cannot chase a paycheck. Like, God has you there for a reason. And when you literally remove yourself, right? I talk about our egos and coaching. This gets in my way at times. Like, our ego is so powerful. And I tell people all the time, what does ego stand for? It stands for edging God out. Yeah. So I just think when we're sitting there and our ego's like, man, I want to be in the SEC or I want to be at the highest place. It's like, pause. Like, God has you there for a reason. And I think we have to just like step back and just go, okay, Lord, like, use me here. Like, use me. And I think too many times we're like thinking about the next job instead of just focusing on what's right in front of us right now. Like, why does God have me here?
Yeah.
And God, I'm here. Like, just use me. Just use me. And I just think, I tell people this all the time, our players this all the time, their best ability is their availability.
Wow.
So their best ability is their actual availability. So it's like, I would challenge that person and just say, hey, are you making yourself available for God's kingdom? Or are you just trying to accomplish your goal? Like, what does God want for you here? What is he trying to teach you? Who does he want you to help? Who does he want you to lead? And I would just tell them to be encouraged about that. Like, because people say that all the time, like, be where your feet are. You've heard all these things, right? Yeah. But truly, like, do you really pause and go, yes, this is where I want to be? And then the next thing I tell them is like, hey, there's going to be some sacrifices. And if you're willing to be poor for a really long time, you might catch a break, but you might not too.
Yeah.
So I would just tell them that, number one. And then number two, I would just say, what is your ultimate and long-term goal? Where do you want to be? And I got some of the best advice I've ever gotten from Pat McMahon, because I had an opportunity to be a head coach somewhere else earlier in my career. And I asked Pat McMahon, who now works for the New York Yankees, he was the head coach for the Florida Gators at the time. I said, Coach Mack, what do you think about this? And he said, Nick, what's your long-term goal? Like, where do you want to be? And I was like, well, I want to be a head coach in the SEC. He goes, well, then you got to stay in the SEC as long as possible. And then you might have a chance to be head coach. But the second you go somewhere else, then sometimes in the professional and coaching world, you get labeled as that person. Whether it's a junior college coach, an NAIA coach, a mid-major coach, or whatever. He goes, you just kind of, unfortunately, people put these labels on these people. He's like, so I would tell you as fast as possible to get around really good people and get to be, it doesn't matter what level. You could be the guy doing the janitor, cleaning the floors at an SEC school, and then maybe you got a chance to work your way up. So I would say, do whatever you can to get to the spot that you want to be, regardless of the level or how much money, and just earn your way and see if you can just eventually move up.
So good. Your best ability is your availability. I love how you share. And really, I heard you say, bloom where you're planted. Treat your current opportunity like it's your last. Long obedience in the same direction. Stay connected to the vision. So the journey for you was so special. And we could probably spend a whole entire just conversation and podcast episode on the journey, right? But I also want to talk about where you're at today in leading young men. I think you see your opportunity as a real opportunity to teach and grow men, not just coach baseball. You talk often about a championship culture. I've heard you talk about this idea of championship culture over and over and over again. What does a championship culture mean to you?
Well, I think it's based on two things. I don't think I know. I really believe it's based on two things. It's built on relationships and results. So many times I just think even in the business world, like people are so focused on the results, they forget about the relationship piece. And for us, I think this is what makes Kentucky different. And I think from a relationship piece, everyone has to feel appreciated. It doesn't matter. Like if it's Miss Kendra, who actually cleans our facility every morning, she shows up at 5 o'clock in the morning and she's got a 10-year-old son who fell off a swing earlier in the summer and broke both his wrists. And I just think that everybody feels appreciated, from the person that cleans the facility, from the bullpen catcher to the Friday night starter. They're all feel appreciated. And we are human beings. Like we're made for like connectedness. So championship culture, it's based on relationships. Like everyone in the organization, there's like this desire and they're thriving to get along. Like they want that burning desire and relationship. And then the second piece is the results piece. Like there has to be an exact version of what you're accomplishing, and everyone needs to be pulling on the same rope to accomplish those goals or those dreams, whatever they are. And when you have that, it's powerful. And I think the hardest thing for me as a coach to get is the internal accountability. So really the best leaders are led really by each other. Like the players are the best leaders. So I just say like good teams, the coaches lead. Great teams, the captains lead. Like the greatest teams and championship teams, the players are leading each other, and there's accountability. So that internal accountability is the last piece. And I really believe that can only be done by feedback. I think you have to have a heart and a burning desire to just be hungry and constantly want to improve. And when the players have that, I think you're able to accomplish the results that you want to do. But feedback, I tell team, is the breakfast of champions. You got to want it.
So I don't want to miss this opportunity, because I've heard you talk about this idea that feedback is a gift. And you tell this little story about a young girl, a daughter who gave a gift to her dad. Can you unpack this for us real quick?
Yeah. So I just think feedback, if you truly have a desire and heart to learn, grow, and improve, I tell the players every day, let's do those three things. Let's show up with a teachable spirit where we want to learn, let's grow, and let's improve together. That means there's going to be some failure, but in order to do that, you have to be willing to receive feedback. So there was this daughter who didn't know what to get her dad for Christmas. So she was just like, man, and she knew her dad played golf. So she went to the store and bought her dad these golf balls and nicely and neatly wrapped the present, put it under the tree. And when it came time for the gifts to be unpacked, it was her time, and she gets the present, and gives it to her dad, and she's super excited. The dad opens up the golf balls and it's like, these aren't even the golf balls I use, and just throws the golf balls to the ground. And I tell our players, like, how are you going to be when someone gives you feedback? Are you going to be like that dad and just be a punk and not even judging the intent of his daughter's heart? My favorite verse right now is Proverbs 4:23, and it talks about the heart, right? So it's like, above all else, guard your heart, because everything you do flows from it. Above all else, like meaning everything. Guard your heart, because everything, it doesn't say some things, it says everything we do flows from it. And this daughter just had this beautiful, she spent the time, effort, and energy to go buy this, and just like, so I tell our guys, like, what are you going to do with the feedback that we give you or your peers give you? Are you going to receive it like a gift, or are you just going to be a punk? And I really, truly believe for us to learn, grow, and improve, we have to have, our heart needs to be in the right spot. And if we do, then we can receive the feedback, and ultimately, hopefully, let's all change, including coaches. We want feedback from our players. And that's a beautiful place when you have a group of people thriving for relationships, thriving to accomplish results, and can receive the feedback in a good, healthy place. And then as a result, I think we got a chance to go.
Yeah, so good. Well, I've seen that just time and time again in my own life. Feedback's been such a gift. And I think awareness isn't something that happens on its own. You have to really work at it. And so, hey, when you have somebody who's willing to work at it with you or give you the hard truth, that idea that honest conflict holds more value than dishonest harmony, and you're living that out and you're teaching it and coaching it. And so just love that you're making that a part of your championship culture. I want to talk a little bit about surrender before we sign off, because surrender's kind of been a theme for you, for your team. You talk about this moment in 2022 where you just kind of laid it all on the line and surrendered. And so talk to us about what surrender has meant to you in your leadership journey.
Well, going back to that 2017 season, my first year as a head coach, we win the SEC and National Coach of the Year. Team does something awesome. And Jordan, I was like, man, it's easier than I thought. This is and boy,
Gotta figure
did
it
I
out.
get humbled. Like, oh my goodness. It's like, quickly did I realize, like, it is not that easy. And, you know, culture is three things we talked earlier about. I really believe it's every day. It's what you allow and what you reinforce. And, you know, for me, I didn't work on our team's culture every day. And Jordan, what happened to me was we experienced that great success. And there I was, like, chasing the trophy of the College World Series, chasing the idea of, like, bringing a community and a team together to do something that's never been done. And I just became so locked in on that. And I was like, I'm a fixer at nature. Like, I truly love helping people. And it was like, man, and I just became enamored with that. And as a result, I didn't work on my culture. We didn't make the best decisions with maybe some of our, you know, personnel or whatever. And as a result, we went from, in 2017, being 2 games from the College World Series to 2 years later, we're the dead last in the SEC. Like that. And COVID really helped because we had an opportunity to go home, and I had to reset. It's just like, man, what is going on here? So we evaluated our program. We had built it up, made changes in our evaluating, recruiting, whatever. And in 22, I felt like we had the team, like, we're going to do it. Well, in 22, our Friday night starter goes down and gets hurt, our best pitcher. Well, shortly after, we have another arm go down and get hurt, lose him for the year. And I'm like, no way. I'm like, this was the team. Like, this is, like, in my mind, this was the team that was going to get us back on the right track in the map. And Jordan, I was in a bad place. And I became so focused on chasing this. And I truly believe what we chase and what we pursue reveals what we love.
That's good.
And I spent all this time chasing that trophy and trying to do that. And as a result, it didn't work. And I'm just holding on so tight and I can do it. And Jordan, I got to a bad spot. We lose those arms and our team and our program, it starts going down again. And I'm like, finally, I'm beat down. And I finally go and I get on my hands and my knees and I say, Lord, I'm done trying to chase this. Like, I'm just going to surrender. This season, I'm going to surrender it all to you. Like, I'm tired of Nick trying to do this. I need your help. And Jordan, I often tell the story. Kristen and I have a son, he's 10 now, Reeves. But when he was younger, do you remember the little toys where they have, like, the rectangle and you got to put the rectangle and then you got to put the square and then you got to put the block in the block?
You bet.
Listen, I just remember watching Reeves struggle to get the rectangle in the rectangle because he's trying to put it in the box. And, like, as a dad, you just want to reach down there and just kind of turn it for him. And I usually give the example, that's what God is like with us. When he's sitting there just watching us struggle, it's just like, I'm just waiting. If Reeves would have said, Daddy, can you help me? Yes, I got you, baby. I'm going to put that right in and help him. And that's what God's doing for us. And for me, I'm just holding on so tight. And finally, I just get on my hands and my knees and I let go. And I just say, Lord, use me however you want. If you want me to coach, you're great. If you want me to go somewhere else, I'll go somewhere else. If you want me to change my coaching, I'll do whatever. And Jordan, that day, he led me to the third base coaching box. I was in the dugout the whole game. I started coaching third again and put the assistant that was with us at the time in the dugout, Nick, and great things happened. And really, since that day, during the regular season games only, like, we have the most wins in the Southeastern Conference. And, like, it has just been, and this is not some prosperity gospel deal because we still lost. Did we make it to the College World Series? Yes. In 22, we finished up strong, but we didn't make the postseason. In 23, we were 2 wins from Omaha. Then last year we go and we finished 4th or whatever it was. We finished in the country, but it was only because of the grace of God. And what God taught me that time was, it's not what you're playing for, but it's who you're playing for. And instead of me having this horizontal view of trophies and things like that, he basically said, no, Nick, it is, you need to look vertically because it's not what you're playing for, it's who you're playing for. So when I finally surrendered, I didn't care anymore. I didn't care. And I still don't. I'm not like, just, I want to work. I want to do all that, but I just want to bring him honor and glory. And
come on,
that's what he taught me.
Yeah.
That's what he taught me.
Well, your message is such a great reminder that we actually don't have the ability to control, but we do have the ability to surrender, you know? So I love that message. Such a freeing message. I also think this about you. we often talk, Nick, in our community and even on this podcast about the Matthew 18 spirit, when the disciples are arguing over who's the greatest. And Jesus grabs the child and says, truly, I tell you, unless you change and become like this child, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. What he's saying is, I want you to have a humble dependence in how you operate and how you put yourself before me and how you treat others. So, but like a dependence upon him, because kids are helpless. So I love that passage because it's such a great reminder for the way that we ought to operate and live, and I think in part you're the GOAT. You're one of the GOATs in my eyes, not because of all the trophies and the championships, but because you're willing to lay down your own preference and what's best for Nick for the sake of others. Your whole story has been like that, laying things down, trusting God, surrendering over and over and over again. I know that you've had to master the restart, that doesn't, it's not something that like you just turned on one day. That's a conscious decision that you've had to make over and over. But man, I'm so encouraged by the way that you are choosing to steward your time, treasure, and talent. You are so much bigger than a baseball coach. I listened to your conversation with our mutual friend, John Gordon, and he titled the episode, which I'm sort of bummed about this because I'm like, oh man, that's the perfect title. leave it to John to have the perfect words. But it was bigger than the game, with Coach Mingione. And that's you, man. It's bigger than the game. And
well, Jordan, I got to tell you
that.
this. Thank you. Because Billy Graham said this. Billy Graham said, a coach will have the opportunity to impact more young people in 1 year than the average person does in a lifetime.
Wow.
Billy Graham said it. So it's got to be true, right?
Got to be
Billy
true.
Graham said
From
it.
Billy Graham.
It's gotta be. But a coach will have the opportunity to impact more young people in 1 year than the average person in his lifetime. So with that, God has given me this incredible platform. Same with you. You have this incredible platform. This is why I'm attracted to Jordan Montgomery, is because your ability to just pour into people. Like you just think about what you do every day. This is why I'm attracted to you, because you just make people better. That's what you do. You literally get up every day, whether it's you writing a book or you hosting this podcast or you speaking to people, and you're making people better, and you make me better. So like just me hanging out with you, I just love that about you. You have this unbelievable ability to just make people better. And you're using the gift that God gave you. So it's like, that's why I'm honored to even share this time with you, because really God has given you this gift and you're using it. You're like the dad who's actually using the golf balls. It's like, man, what a great gift from my daughter. Like you're using the gifts that God has given you. And it's not Jordan Montgomery and it's not Nick Mingione. We are children of God. That's right. What we are. And these gifts come from God. They're not from us. And you know that. Amen. I've heard John Maxwell say that. I've heard Ed say that. John says that. All the most successful people that I want to surround myself with, like yourself, we understand that these are not from us. These are from God.
Well, to God be the glory. And what a great exclamation point to put on this conversation. Man, your friendship is just a blessing, man. And it's really cool. I sort of followed your journey from afar. And then we got connected this past year at the event with John and Ed. And I'll never forget this, just, burn into my brain. And I'll leave you and our listeners with this. We were doing introductions. There was a kind of a small dinner. I don't know, there's maybe 20 of us in that room probably. And, we just sort of got up and said our name and what we do or whatever, kind of the typical, 90-second thing. And I just remember you cried. You were like emotional and you cried and you cried when you started to talk about your faith. And, it's been said that you learn about what's in a person's heart, what's most important in the first 2 or 3 minutes of conversation. And yet in modern day culture, especially when you're in a position of authority or leadership, and man, it can get kind of corporate and PC, and there's a bureaucratic element to what you do. And yet, man, the first 90 seconds, you're like, hey, my name is Nick, and man, I'm a dad and a husband. I coach at Kentucky, and man, I'm a Christian follower. I love Jesus. And you just started crying. And I was like, wow, like if more of us, honestly, I sat there and I thought, do I introduce myself that way? Am I that bold? Am I that quick to claim the name of Jesus in a conversation? And of course, there's context and a right and wrong place. And I'm not suggesting that we enter into every room that way, but I just remember there was something really special and tender about your posture, your disposition, and the way that you shared Jesus with that room. So you don't need to respond to that. I just want you to know that that moment was a blessing to me. I appreciate your friendship. Thank you for investing 45 minutes of your valuable time into our community, man. I'm so appreciative of who you are and your continued impact on me.
Well, thank you, Jordan.
God bless you, brother. We're signing off. This has been another episode of the Growth Over Goals podcast. Thank you, Coach Nick, for being with us. Thanks, John Choate and Matthew, for all the work that you do behind the scenes. Hey, if you found this conversation valuable, share it with a friend. We're excited for Kentucky baseball, but more importantly, excited for Coach and his continued ministry. Go check him out on social media. Watch one of his famous interviews where he talks about the things that matter most. Be well, be great. Have an amazing day.